This is whenever we first get to circle Mercury out there at the very front of our planetary group lies Mercury, a little uninhabited planet enveloped by a snare of interest and secret. At a simple look, nothing appears to be influential for this planet anyway. Ongoing examinations by NASA have uncovered some surprising disclosures about Mercury that nobody anticipated. A portion of the stunning revelations, including information from the James Webb Telescope, have started debate inside the local area, with many indicating the probability of extraterrestrial species concealing in the world. In the midst of the turbulent disclosures and strange scheme speculations, another arrangement is jumping up inside established researchers. It is the ground-breaking strategy to strip Mercury of its awesome veils and uncover its dim, privileged insights once and for all. What awesome mysteries have researchers found about Mercury, and what progressive plans does the academic local area have for this strange cosmic neighbor? Go along with us in this video as Webb Telescope at last found what NASA was concealing on Mercury. All along, our planetary group is more than just a natural assemblage of planets swinging in an inestimable merry-go-round. Every one of the 8 planets that make up this perplexing ring framework has entrancing highlights of its own, despite the fact that planets like Jupiter and Mars may have taken the spotlight with their shocking importance. Another intriguing planetary body that appears to be lost in the group is Mercury, is the planet that lies at the extremely top of the rundown of planets arranged by closeness to the Sun. Its separation from the Sun is a simple 58 million kilometers looked at to Earth's 150 million km. Mercury is additionally very little analyzed to Earth, estimating just 3,000 m in diameter thanks to its small sweep around the Sun. Mercury is the quickest planet to complete its unrest around the Sun. At an incredible speed of 47 kilometers per second, the planet finishes a full revolution in 59 days. At the end of the day, 1 year on Mercury is just 88 days or 90 days on Earth. Mercury's little size and colossal speed are only a couple of its entrancing highlights from a distance on the vast map. It even looks like a livable planet. The little planet has forever been charming to established researchers. However, for reasons unknown, it hasn't earned consideration like the greater part of its infinite neighbors. The principal recorded perception of Mercury was in 265 BC. Early stargazers like Zupus back in 1639 too concentrated in the world anyway. All the academic local area had in these early times were pieces and bits of information, as their exploration was all directed utilizing inadequate logical hardware. Furthermore, old telescopes. It was only after the 1960s that truly substantial information about Mercury became exposed, thanks to the endeavors of the public aeronautical and space organization NASA. A couple of years prior, NASA uncovered the main genuine pictures of Mercury to the public. These bigger-than-life photos showed Mercury as a divine epitome of magnificence and intricacy. However, it didn't come efficiently in spite of long periods of arranging and, as a matter of fact, built work to investigate Mercury. Researchers were simply ready to look at it. Truly, researchers have a difficult time keeping an eye on Mercury as they do on different planets due to its nearness to the Sun. The Sun's unforgiving beams and brilliant light can harm optical instruments like telescopes when they look at Mercury for excessively lengthy as such. Researchers can look at the minuscule planet for a couple minutes all at once to forestall harm to hardware. Even the James Webb Telescope can't guide towards the planet due toward its closeness to the Sun. It's very perplexing how this generally little close-by planet is more diligently to study than the farther planets, all on account of the temperature and gravitational draw from The Sun sending a test to Mercury is more like a self-destruction mission than a heavenly mission. The test should adjust to the temperature, climate, and gravitational force insight there. If not, it will die. It would shock you to realize that Mercury blasts around the Sun at an incredible speed of 30 m/s. This time-breaking speed makes it the quickest circling planet in our sunlight-based framework, and to make sure you know this, moreover, represents a trouble for rocket that mean to review the planet or land on its surface. Up to this point, just 2 space missions have had Mercury as its objective. The Sailor 10 sent off on November 3, 1973, and the Courier sent off on August 3, 2004 are the way to space apparatus to visit Mercury. Both of these missions were the brainchild of NASA, and they are the essential wellsprings of practically all the data we have about Mercury today. For one, the Sailor 10 shuttle led 3 flybys, each exposing the laughed, hysterically hole-ridden surface of Mercury, and furthermore focusing light on its attractive field. In the event that you're pondering, this rocket was outfitted with 2 telescopes, spectrometers, a magnetometer, spectrometer, and plasma analyzer. NASA expected to gather so a lot information as conceivable from the Sailor 10's visit to Mercury as it would turn out. The test gradually tracked down its approach to the little quick planet in the wake of utilizing gravity help from Venus. As Sailor 10 moved toward Mercury, researchers were astonished to see the tumultuous surface of Mercury. It was ridden with heaps of pits and edges similar as our Moon. The pictures from Sailor were stunning, as Mercury ended up being not at all like what specialists had ever expected. Beside the tough planetary surface, the space apparatus, moreover, identified a powerless attractive field and an bizarrely enormous center in all. The Sailor took more than 2,700 pictures of Mercury, giving researchers an intriguing and unrivaled view of the captivating scene. The second flyby of the Sailor was on September 21, 1974, during which it caught the southern polar district of the shocking planet. The last flyby of the Sailor 10 was in spring 1975, after which it quit communicating signs to Earth. Later examinations uncovered that the space apparatus had depleted its stock of gas, as was unfit to make additional rounds. The heavenly work of the Sailor 10 was proceeded with 30 years some other time, when NASA's Courier took off to the not far off planet. Not at all like its ancestor, Courier didn't simply direct a flyby, yet additionally figured out how to circle the planet. On account of this, researchers had the option to assemble more inside and out and fascinating information about the planet, furnished with the fascinating pictures of Mercury. NASA looked for more profound information with this mission. This time it wasn't just about pictures. The organization needed to find out about the barometrical circumstances and compound piece of the planet. NASA additionally to concentrate in the world's attractive field, as well as dive profound into its geologic history and planetary center. As you'd expect, the Courier test was stacked with every one of the essential devices it would need for this historic mission. Curiously, the test made 3 circles around Mercury, during which time it took around 200,000 photographs of the planet. These photos were remarkable, since dissimilar to the Sailor mission, they included the 2 sides of the planet. During the Courier mission, the test made do to enter into the planet's circle, drifting at about 215,000 kilometers over the planet's surface. This vicinity empowered the test to take pictures of both the light and dull sides of Mercury, subsequent to diving profound into the pictures and contrasting them and information from the space apparatus instruments. NASA figured out that our dear sister planet had bizarrely high centralizations of calcium and magnesium on its night side. Also, the attractive field of the planet is by all accounts oddly misshaped. giving off an impression of being more grounded from there. The sky is the limit. Extraordinary in the northern locales. This peculiar example of attractive field baffled researchers for a really long time until profound investigation was directed to uncover the mysterious behind this abnormality. However, when the mysteries were at long last uncovered, it sent shock waves all through the local area. You see, Mercury's odd and strange attractive field is all because of how the planet shaped at its center. Attractive fields on planets are produced from the responses that happen in their center. Take Earth as an illustration. The deepest parts of the world's center contain fluid iron. However, towards the inner layer, this iron changes to strong. The consistent or moderate hardening of fluid iron in the center causes attractive field. At the end of the day, increasingly strong iron is being framed in our planet's center consistently as fluid iron cools and takes shape to frame strong iron. It communicates with the encompassing fluid iron as this occurs as the Earth turns around its pivot. A type of convective current is made in the end. Strong electric flows are produced that produce a huge attractive field, loosening up into space. This is the definite method of activity for the Earth. What's more, how its attractive field lines are produced for Mercury anyway, it's a different ball game. Truth be told, Mercury's method of activity is strange to the point that it let researchers totally mind overwhelmed. In a new exploration drove by Howa from the College of California, Los Angeles, it was found that iron abandons fluid to strong at the center's external limit. This is altogether different from that of Earth, where the change from fluid to strong happens at the center's internal limit. How had this too? Let's assume we had sorted out how the Earth works, and Mercury is another earthly, rough planet with an iron center, so we figured it would work the same way. However, it's not working the same way. It's like a blizzard where the snow structures at the highest point of the cloud, the center of the cloud, and the lower part of the cloud as well. Our investigation of Mercury's attractive field demonstrates iron is snowing all through this liquid that is fueling Mercury's attractive field. Further exploration showed that Howe's examination was steady with information from NASA's Courier mission. The stunning disclosure drove researchers to accept that planets have more than one approach to creating attractive fields, albeit the centers of Mercury and Earth contain comparable constituents like sulfur. Also, iron-specific aberrations in these two planets can create astounding contrasts as found in their attractive fields. Anyway, the uniqueness between Earth and Mercury works out positively past its attractive field. You see, there are a large number different principles that this heavenly body doesn't appear to follow. For example, researchers were confused to see that as temperatures in the world could are to upsides of over 430 degrees Celsius in the day, yet drop to as low as 170 degrees. See, this astounding situation is expected to Mercury's shortfall of an air. Not at all like Earth. Mercury has a dainty exosphere. More terrible still, this exosphere is simply comprised of iotas launched of its surface by influence meteoroids and sun-based breezes. Researchers trust that since Mercury is unnecessarily hot, whatever would have shaped a legitimate environment over it gets rapidly dissipated into space. Moreover, since it comes up short on environment, the side of Mercury that is pointing toward the sun gets impacted with outrageous intensity, and here's where it gets truly stunning. One full day on Mercury is very as lengthy as its year, while 1 year rises to 88 Earth days. 1 day really rises to 176 Earth days, so this implies one side of Mercury gets reliably assaulted with outrageous intensity and daylight, while the night side scarcely gets any. These two factors, the absence of air and the extra drawn-out day, are the significant purposes behind the outrageous temperature vacillations. The entrancing Temperatures on Mercury have long caused hypotheses to go crazy in the academic local area. Having an attractive field and a rough soil structure makes Mercury a potential inhabitable planet. Anyway, the insane temperatures would make life on Mercury basically incomprehensible anyway. Certain dubious highlights of this cryptic planet have left many contemplating whether there's a probability of tracking down biolife on Mercury, and this has birthed questions. Like, imagine a scenario in which Mercury is, as a matter of fact, inhabitable, and assuming it is what conceivable living things could exist on the planet. Up to this point, the outer layer of Mercury has demonstrated to be very intriguing. Similar as our moon, the planet appears to contain a few effect cavities. The moon has for some time been perplexed with discussions and connivance, speculations of outsiders on account of its bizarrely huge number of holes, some of which take confounding shapes like vaults, albeit no evidence exists of such extra-regional moon bases. Many have similarly started to point fingers at Mercury, proposing the presence of such species, despite the fact that influence holes are generally the shortcoming of space rocks. It isn't incomprehensible that some can be brought about by shuttle. For instance, NASA's Courier test caused a huge pit when it collided with Mercury's surface on April 30th, 2015. Today there are incalculable pits, breaks, edges, and even hints of magma ejections. Thus, imagine a scenario in which a portion of these different holes were brought about by other comparative extraterrestrial rocket or outsider movement. A few other stunning realities about Mercury have additionally prompted paranoid ideas, like the ice water stores found in the lower part of the cavities at the north and south poles of the planet. Truth be told, a new logical study from the Planetary Exploration Establishment showed that the planet's north post could have the ideal circumstances for outrageous biol structures. These tenable regions include conditions very equivalent to those on Earth, just that they're concealed underneath the planet's surface. This stunning end was drawn from the investigation of the pictures from NASA's Courier test, which were formed into a guide utilizing this information. Researchers found that there are certain salt ice sheets in the world that are loaded with unpredictable mixtures to support the presence of biolife. Thus, indeed, even inside the brutal climate and the lethal vicinity to the sun, these specialists accept that there is an opportunity outsiders or some kind of biol structures can be tracked down on Mercury on the off chance that we dig profound enough. One of the most exceptional accomplishments of NASA's Courier test is that it figured out how to draft a guide of Mercury capture every one of the holes and bowls that were in the world's surface. This gave researchers at NASA more than adequate chance to concentrate in the world's geography inside and out. However, much more. The test likewise figured out how to uncover the organization of Mercury. Incidentally, the forlorn planet has a surface organization of 46%. Oxygen 12%, magnesium 26%, silicon 7%, aluminum and 4%. Calcium. Researchers additionally find that the planet has an abnormally high wealth of unstable components like sulfur, yet a curiously low measure of iron. This revelation ignited debates inside the local area, since it put Mercury aside as an alternate planet from the remainder of the planets in the planetary group. For the most part, planets in the planetary group are known to be more plentiful in iron than sulfur, particularly in their center. Seeing a planet that didn't follow this rule was very surprising and ignited interest in Mercury. All in all, as of late, researchers additionally saw something uncommon about the planet. It had a curious dusty ring about it. This once again ignited contentions. Numerous specialists inside established researchers were concerned in light of the fact that Mercury appeared to be excessively little to have a planetary ring in our hole. Nearby planet group just Jupiter and Saturn are known for their rings. Jupiter's rings are very not many and faint and were first recognized in 1979 by Explorer 1. Saturn on the other hand has a distinct ring framework that can be